Is he pretty?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Whose hair is nicer, yours or his?
Oh, no. It's more of just a follow-up than anything else, right? So.
It is.
Yeah.
Follow up,
Kind of what
talk
we
about
did.
how great it was, and talk about the next one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which oddly enough, that was the same day that I'd actually selected for the BeastNet 5K, but I can always move that.
You can make it work.
We can do
Yeah,
both.
so you could just stack them. I am a huge no race stacker. Like, I've told Charity the same thing. She's like, oh, I want to do this virtual. I've got like 2 or 3 virtual runs. They're all 5Ks. Let's go do a 5K run. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't stack them. That's cheating.
Oh, we did five races on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's a little bit different. Like that's epic being able to do that many, but like just 1 or 2 or 3, like meh, you know. But
You
like,
did 5.
and, you know, the amount of distance you did,
Yes.
I can get behind saying, yeah, you can go ahead and stack that because, well, respect.
Mike screwed up on his stacking.
Whatever. I actually did the 5K on Friday, and then we did the UltraVirus and the Spartan Ultra on Saturday. So we stacked those 2, and then I ended up taking Sunday off, and then Monday I did a half marathon and a 1 miler.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, my feet don't like me.
You know.
But
Uh-huh.
so.
Oh, get us started, Michael.
Oh, I figured we already did. All right, fine. We've already kind of been talking, so
Well, we're started then. Cheers.
That's fine. I'll just throw a thing on the front of it.
there you go. That's all right. Throw a thing on the front of me.
Is that an embroidery on there?
It is.
That's nice. I like that.
Matches the hat,
I have a beanie around here somewhere.
Nice.
and you have a shirt that matches this too. Might
Yeah,
be a little
but
bit too
big.
big now.
It's too big.
No, the shirt just shrunk.
No, the person who wears it.
Oh, shrunk. Oh, the shirt's too
He
big.
said the
Yeah,
shirt
the
was-
shirt's too big.
It's the other way around. Oh, okay.
He bought it
Nope.
because he ordered it back in February when I was 285 pounds, and now I'm 238. So,
Wow.
so
Congrats.
yeah,
So
I've been pushing.
now we'll have to push on that shirt to Kyle.
Yeah, I've been pushing. I've been really, going with it. It's been tough some days though to really push. I mean, this week's been tough for me honestly because I want to go out and do stuff, but my feet are like, is
Yup.
fuck off. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. I did go out today. I did do a 5K today. I went out and did 3 miles, but it was a slow 3 mile. I mean, which actually for me is faster than it used to be. I mean, it was faster than what used to be my fast 3 miles. I mean, I was 17-mile pace and just kind of kept going. So
Nice.
Wow.
You saw that for 40 miles we need to do a 16-minute pace is what I calculated with breaks.
how about you lick my? Never mind.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Almost had to send the kid out of the room there for a second.
She's,
I looked at the video first to see if she was there or not. So
she's like
she's
5 feet away.
She's sitting on the couch. Let's see. She's sitting on the
Okay.
Right
couch
there
with
with headphones
headphones.
on.
There we go.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, exactly. She's good.
It always makes me. I can't remember what movie that was with Vince Vaughn. When every time he'd go say something horrible, I'd be like earmuffs. His kids would cover their ears. Like,
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy. I'm in.
No, I mean I'm okay with the 40. I mean it's we're looking what July something.
July 18th to do
Yeah,
40 miles.
All right.
Well, that's what you guys are going for, 40?
I
Yeah.
regret this
Full
now.
again?
I really regret this, but whatever.
Well, Lisa and Virginia and Chris are all planning on joining us.
I know.
Nice.
I saw that. Yeah.
So maybe we can have the same thing, just have a rotating cast of characters all day long
Yeah.
and just move a little bit quicker.
And
Yeah.
bring the-
Make sure you check in more often this time. I didn't really get to see you guys on there very often.
It was usually Dawn checking in, and we had Virginia, who I love Virginia, but it was pretty much she had us at like 10 minutes in between rounds. Like, and we'd walk in and she would like hit the timer, and then usually I'm running.
This is all you have now out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm grabbing fuel and water and whatever and everything else. And by the time we walked back in, she's like, we got to go. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, in order to keep our time, I mean, we were done in 9 hours and 14 minutes. We still had time to get out there.
5. We could have gone
Or
another
10.
lap. I didn't want to do another lap, but we could have.
I know, right? You get to that point, it's like, no, I'm done. I'm good.
You didn't want to do the first one, let's be honest. But
But I mean, it's one of those things I know, and that's why I keep thinking when he keeps saying 40, and I'm like, we finished in 9.5, which meant we had what 2.5 hours left, and we were averaging, and even on the last ones where I was slowing down quite a bit, we were still
Hour 40 on the last.
an hour and a half. I mean, hour and 40 on the last. So we had enough time. We could have done one more loop, but my body was not for that. It was like, no.
So, did you guys do the math and realize how much mileage BeastNet did that day?
no, I didn't look each individual person up.
So if we add up just the 4 of us on this call right now, we had 100 miles.
Damn. That's impressive.
So, and then we add in
100 because I did 5 of that.
Yes.
Otherwise, we would have been at 95.
we weren't going to point that out, but
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got 5 in there. Like,
you did.
you know, I know it doesn't seem like much, and you know, if I wasn't emceeing, I probably would have gone out and walked a bit more. The weather was way better than it was supposed to be that day, so
Boy, was it
nice. Yeah, like that was the thing. I heard everyone's like, oh my God, it's so hot here. Here it was like nice, overcast, crisp. You could just go out there. When I went out, actually, the sun had just kind of come out a little bit, so it was nice, you know, to have the sun on you, but it wasn't hot. And then like halfway through, it cooled down and got a little overcast, and then just stayed that way. And it would have been a perfect day to keep going out. But even at that,
and see, those are the kind of days I like.
Yeah, that it was still the most I've ever run at a time.
Yeah, continuously.
Continuously, or like the length of time. Like even Matt was like, "Wow, you've only done one." You know, he's like, "What do you mean this is the most you've run?" I'm like, "Well," he's like, "I met you in Seattle and you were running there." I was like, "No, I wasn't running. I don't run." Like maybe at the very beginning when they honk the horn, we all go for a run. Then it dies down to a jog. Then from that point, it's jog, walk, mostly walk, talk a lot, maybe jog. Like, oh, there's the next obstacle. Let's jog to it. And that's like 100 feet. You know, it's not.
Well, it's kind of like Tough Mudder.
Run it.
It was just a giant party. I mean, there was no running when we did Tough Mudder. It was just all of us talking, having a party. You had the stereo going and just having fun. And that's, you know, that's what is amazing to me. That was such a blast. So
That's
our
what
weather here was, it was horrible.
What do you mean that's the furthest you've gone? And I know it sounds kind of like you've only done 5 miles. Like I've only run 5K. You know, although maybe
the marathon relay that we did.
Yeah, okay, maybe. What is 5 miles in kilometers? That's 8.
I don't know.
Okay, maybe it wasn't the most. I've got the world's worst memory, so I did a half marathon. So you know what? Maybe half marathon distance is the most I've ever run.
13.1.
I actually run that. And I was gonna say I've run one tougher where I pushed myself, but that's like the third. This would be like the third time I've ever like just not pushed myself, but like actually exerted myself.
Yeah.
The whole time. So I gotta get past that. I gotta start pushing that a little bit more, like you guys. So.
Well, I've been pushing myself. I mean, it's still, I do a run jog, or I call it a walk, because I kind of walk and jog, but I've been running more. So I've got like when in the loop that you saw, that's kind of my normal running loop. And I have like places on there, like landmarks that I'm like, okay, when I get to this landmark, I'm going to run from this one to this one.
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of, take a break and walk for a bit. And then, okay, when I get to this one, I run from this one to this one. And I have been noticing my landmarks have been getting more and more.
A little bit further away. I did the same thing. Like I was getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to continue to run. I'm like, okay, wait, I see a fire hydrant up the road. I'm going to continue to run to that fire hydrant. I'm not going to stop now. I'm just going to pick something that I can see and get to it. Then I got to that point, then I, slowed down a little bit and said, that's where I'm going to start up again right there. Give yourself goals. Otherwise, you'll just keep walking. And you'll be like, oh, I'm back home all of a sudden, like. You know,
Yeah, and
but if
that's
you
kind
give
of it.
yourself those goals.
I think part of that for me was when I first started working out, 10 years ago when I really started running. That's how I ran on the treadmill, because I had a treadmill in my office, and I would just go downstairs and run. And so what I would do is I'd run hard for like a minute and then walk for 2, and then run hard for a minute and then walk for 2. And then by the time I'd done that for a long time, it changed where I was running hard for 2 minutes and then walking for 1, and it just kind of, kept doing that interval. And for me, that's what worked really good. And I kind of do that when I run now too. So, but yeah. And then our weather here, you talk about the weather there. Our weather here was in the morning. We had a couple times where like Tatiana's like, should we stop and go back inside? And I'm like, why? She's like, that's thunder and lightning. I'm like, I counted to 3. It's not closer than 3 miles. We're fine. We're
I
good.
heard that a few people too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thunder, lightning, and then the sun came out or whatever.
Yep.
So.
And then it started raining again later, but whatever. This is
raining.
Washington. You don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. It changes.
Yeah, I posted a picture of all the lightning strikes around us on the BeastNet Facebook page, and it was just crazy looking at it.
Yeah. Well, I just made sure Don wasn't too close to me because, he's already been hit twice. So, what's the third one?
Oh, jeez.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stayed close to Virginia. She had the steel plate in her rucksack, so
Of course. Smart move.
that way I could divert it from her.
Yeah, me and Tatiana were talking, and she's like, what kind of story would that be, though? Hey, I was out running with my friend, and she got struck by lightning.
Yeah, but then
think of the
Virginia
story.
should get back up and keep moving.
No, it would have
Yeah,
sped
Virginia
her
was
up.
just-
She would have she'd get hit and back in time. 1.21 gigawatts. God.
Still be
Well, she's
faster than
called
us and doing better. She's a monster. She just goes.
Mighty Mouse.
A mighty mouse.
Mighty Mouse. So that would
Mighty
be
Mouse.
Here I come to
Here
save
the
the day.
day.
Yes.
Man, who remembers Mighty Mouse? Come on.
I do. I love Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse, Danger Mouse. I still have Danger Mouse on DVD.
My
Yeah.
favorite was Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Wow.
Wow.
You know that one, right?
Mighty Mouse shirts when I was younger. I remember that.
Back when King
Back in
Tut
the
walked
day.
there.
No, dinosaurs.
Oh,
Remember, I'm
dinosaurs,
older.
sorry. Yeah, you are. Quite old again.
Wow.
So how was doing it on the treadmill?
I was gonna say, how was the weather for Charity? Yeah.
Oh, the worst.
living room.
She had the worst speed to get to her place that she was running too. So
It was humid and gross.
didn't start off that way.
By the third loop, you could smell the rank in the workout room. It was bad. Okay. Treadmill running sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Did you
and
keep up the same pace most of the time, or did you kind of change it? Or
first lap was super quick, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's the first lap. I can do this." And then the 2 laps after that were the
so
same
it was a
pace.
sprint lap then.
And then I did 7, right? And the 4 laps after that were pretty consistent.
Yeah, didn't really change much up and down like while running or in between or.
No, I kept my pits to 5 minutes or less.
Yeah. I rarely saw her up here, so.
And I
So it was a
survived
good
off
day.
energy gel, salted potatoes, and noon hydration. That's all I ran on all day. So it worked.
I made, well, actually, I didn't. Amber, my wife made, I called them ultra sandwiches. But it was a wrap. And basically it was just kind of a lunch meat with some Havarti cheese rolled up in a wrap.
That sounds good.
And that was my fuel for the whole day. It was like a flatbed wrap, and she just rolled it up in that, and I had like 6 or 7 of those. And just every time we'd come in, I'd grab one of those, and they were quick and easy to eat. They weren't hard on my stomach, because that's what I worried about. Because I've been on some races before where I'm like, oh, let's have this, and then all of a sudden, like a couple minutes later, I'm like, oh, where's the bathroom? Yeah.
I used to be called. I think I've gotten rid of that one, but yeah, I was called Deuce because you would start like almost every Tough Mudder. I swear, within the first lap, I'd be like, there's some toilets. I gotta go use them.
Yep.
I'll just catch up to you guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I've had that on a couple races where all of a sudden it's like your stomach's like, oh, I really shouldn't have ate that. So I've learned really quickly I don't eat anything new for like 2 days before a race.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Definitely a good idea for sure.
So, but yeah, I found that they were really good. I called them, like I said, my ultra sandwiches, and they were perfect. And then I had, I drink my little vitamin zero water crap all the time, so that's what I drank.
Did you have like a bag, like a water bag with your hydration vest? No.
No, I mean, because the thing that was nice, because the way we did ours, every 5-mile loop, we were back at the house.
Yeah, and it wasn't exactly very hot. You said
No.
where you were,
So there was like 1 or 2 laps where I did take, because what we did 6 laps. So there was a couple laps where I did have some Gatorades too, and I took a Gatorade with me and walked around. But I don't like carrying things when I walk or run. So, and I didn't really want to wear the pack unless I had to.
Yeah, well, it's just gonna get you sweatier if you don't need it. But
and actually, I should have grabbed. I do have a belt with 2 bottles that I bought when I first started running like 10 years ago. That finally probably would fit me now. I had a problem with it because I was fat and it didn't work so well. But now that I'm skinnier again, it might work. But
there you go. Maybe for next time.
Keep
it, like fill it up the night before. Put the bottles in the fridge, and then as you need them, take them out, throw them on your belt.
Well, that's gonna be the fun one in this one in July, because you never know in Washington. I mean, it
might be 70, hot.
It could be 85, 90. What I found is like the buffs or whatever they call them, those weird, basically the gaiters that everyone's using for masks right now, something like that. I have similar ones to those that I bought for when we were in Hawaii, and I put them in Ziploc bags and fill the bags up with water, and then throw them in the freezer.
Yeah.
And then I'll throw them in my pack, and then they'll melt as I'm going, and then I basically pull them out and put them over my head, and they cool me down. So it's a good way to cool down. Because in Hawaii, that was my biggest problem, was overheating.
Yeah, I heard a couple people towards the end were doing that with their shirts.
Yep.
Like getting them wet, bringing them out, throwing them in the freezer, and a couple people were like, "This is the best. I've never done this before, and it's helping out a lot."
Or you put you get your hat wet, and then you put it in the freezer as well the night before, and then it melts as you run, so you've got your hat.
Yep.
I've been to parties where we take women's bras and throw them in the freezer, but that's a different party.
The same.
That's a different kind of party. Definitely a different kind of party.
Run with the frozen bra and tell me how that is.
Just the bra, please. Please, right. Just that's all you need to just wear the bra and run.
Just the bra.
And Speedos.
Yes, please. That's gonna be the next. That's gonna be the next like cover picture for BeastNet.
You know what? We'll get you like some.
There's a beast.
We'll get you some BeastNet Ginch or something. You have the BeastNet logo right on your crotch.
Yes.
It's not like
Don did.
It's more like Sasquatchy beast, right? So.
Why'd you say Sasquatch? Look at me.
I didn't look at you.
You did. Oh.
There's gonna be some fighting in the big house tonight.
And I'll win.
Always.
Yep.
Always.
I'll win.
Keeps it a little bit more interesting that way.
Yeah.
And I say a little while back, I actually designed BeastNet underwear with the beast right there on the cog piece.
Yep.
So
Nice.
I was thinking, but okay.
Or you can put it right on the butt.
That would be even better. That it speaks.
Peeky.
Make it color changing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, like one of those sweat, like the new ones from Tough Mudder where you sweat. Does anyone else remember Hypercolor?
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to remember was Hypercolor.
Yep.
Hypercolor shirts. I had mine for like a week and a half, and then my mom ruined it by throwing it in the dryer.
Yep.
I told her like 7 times not to do that, but whatever, mom being mom, just trying to wash your clothes for you. Because you just throw it on the floor and it's always dirty. So.
Because you're a teenage boy and you're dirty. Yeah.
You.
Because you always made sure to walk up to your female friends and put your hands just in the right spot. No.
Lick it first, and then.
Then they'd be walking around and they looks like they just have hands for holding up their boobs. I mean, that was special.
Yeah.
Hypercolor.
That's attractive.
So
People always like that look.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that you guys have, decided to do the next one.
Yeah, it was a blast. So
I'll probably do the same thing depending on weather. I'll probably go out for a lap or 2 again. I believe Charity's going to stay home, but maybe you'll come for a lap.
I am tapping out. I've done 2 of them. I've done the treadmill version and the road version.
See,
she can host, and she hosts, and you go run.
Now you go run it this time.
I guess.
Yeah, 35 treadmill last time. I'm good for a while. I'm just,
Maybe they'll open the border and we can come grab you guys and do it together.
See, now that I was gonna say that earlier, it's like too bad that it's not as easy as it is. Otherwise I'd be like, yeah, I'll come over and I'll do it with you guys. So
You could run
it's
to the
not
border,
the
run
end
across
of
the
the
border,
world
and
yet.
back.
So it'll happen for sure.
Yeah.
All right, you jog to Linden, and I'll pick you up.
Yeah,
Do
I
it.
can do that.
Okay.
I'll just ride my bike.
Yeah.
That might be smarter.
Yeah.
I was almost there yesterday. I was up in Whidbey Island, but teaching a class.
I will give you a killer playlist like I did for my run, and you can just run and keep running.
I
There you
hope
go.
to open up the borders soon. That'll
Yeah, me
be,
too.
everything else over here is now opening up, like as of last week. And this Monday was kind of a turnaround for the other places. So 90% of the places are open now, maybe with less hours, but they're
And
open.
kids are
now,
back in
so,
school except for Sierra.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kids are
we're at like 15% open here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that.
The governor of this state is going to keep us locked up until he's voted out, I think.
Oh wow.
It happens.
Well,
Yep.
a lot of people here are still saying it's too soon, or at least people are acting like it's too soon because they're just all up in everybody's business. Like, oh, there's all of a sudden no virus. No, that's not what's happening. It didn't just disappear overnight.
Yeah.
They're just finally letting people back out again. So, pools are still closed, stuff like that. But we're getting there.
Well, do you guys have a
That's good.
curfew though? 'Cause I know some places do right now.
Curfew.
A curfew, yeah, because they're
So,
Martial law.
yes.
yeah, we've been alternating in and out of curfews and different protests and some riots. Those are the good things. That's the cure to the virus is rioting.
Yeah. Helps everybody.
Now that's
Yep.
being a close group of people with no
Not even
It
that.
happens. But hey, this isn't a political podcast. We don't want to talk about all that crazy stuff.
No, but just the fact that I know that there's curfews and things going on. So getting out, being able to do your thing still, the curfews probably impact that, right? Because you guys can only get out. For so long.
It depends, because really where we are in Puyallup, we don't care.
Yeah, we're nowhere.
Okay.
We're nowhere near a city. I mean, if they come here, they're really bored.
Yeah, actually, they're protesting downtown tomorrow, Saturday, and Monday down at the library. Downtown Puyallup at the library.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's like, whatever.
Well, like Auburn is the closest town, Auburn and Tacoma. Tacoma I don't think had a curfew because they were actually peaceful.
Yeah, they're peaceful in Tacoma. They just laid down and face down on the street.
Yep.
That was their way of protesting. So I mean, it's like, hey, peaceful. That's cool. But
So from you two, if someone wants to do one of these long distance endurance things, what do you offer for tips or suggestions or advice? Let's kind of like flip the script back to.
Well, I know that was one thing I was going to ask you guys about, because you guys talked about the whole like lubing up your toes, which I thought maybe we were just talking about something you do in the bedroom, and I didn't want to ask you questions. But I mean,
I might be a foot guy.
What you guys do in the bedroom, that's I'm not sure that the listeners or I really want to.
Cherry's getting
no
out of
judgment.
screen.
Yeah, no kink shaming. But that's where the only place, I mean, I've had foot issues in the past. I mean, everyone knows, like when I did Hawaii last year, my feet were destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
This time, I mean, I did more distance. I did 31 miles. I ended up with blisters on 2 toes on each foot, and that was it. My big toe on one foot, and then like the middle toe on my other foot, and that was really it. But the one is not too good, but whatever. I still did 3 miles today. What have you guys done? Because you mentioned the whole lubing up your toes. What do you mean by that? Because that's the only thing I would figure. The foot.
She's got some. While she's gone to go out and get her stuff, the thing that
She's getting props.
She's getting the lube.
The lube, yes.
I'm kind of worried that she's putting the lube on her feet. Just
like I said, I'm a foot guy.
Whatever.
What I did for the Beast was I bought Injinji toe socks, and they are the best.
Don keeps talking about.
Like they go over each toe, and there's like almost no way that you can get a blister when you wear them. So it's perfect, I thought, for a longer distance. And you're back.
But try changing socks and shoes in between with those on. Ain't happening.
No, you don't need.
And see, that was me. As I think that helped a lot too for me. As I mean, I think like Hawaii, I talked about when my feet got destroyed, but I wore the same shoes and socks for the whole time. This time, the first 2 laps, I wore the same socks. I wore the same shoes the whole time, but I switched socks 3 or 4 times. So as the socks got wet and damp, and I started to feel like that dampness, I switched them. So I think that helped why I only ended up like 2 blisters. But
And your shoe size, was it on the larger, like they had lots of room,
Yes.
or were they normal everyday size?
A little bit longer, a little bit extra. I usually have a large toe box in the shoes. I like to have my toes be able.
Again, one of the best things you can do as well. So.
Yeah, I like having my toes, because I was really bad when I was younger about buying shoes that were too small all the time. So I wore 8.5s for years. And when I finally went and had them measured, they're like, you should be wearing 10s.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
So you just liked them form fitting.
I like them. Yeah, really. I like a tight,
toy like a tiger.
like a tight fit. But so it's So and I do now. I make sure I always get the same size. And actually, what I do a lot of times, like now, the shoes I had, I literally got them Tuesday, and then wore them for the 31 miles on Saturday. But I'd put 16 miles on them before that. So
yeah, you definitely want to wear them in.
And nothing you
If anything, walk
And
around.
that Chris that was with us. If you guys saw the pictures of her blisters, she started the morning in brand new shoes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I got mine. That's why I was glad I got mine Tuesday. But what I'll do is like the ones that I got on Tuesday, it wasn't like it was the same shoes I'd already had, but just new ones. And that's kind of what these are the shoes that work for me. I'm not getting, shin splints. I'm not getting all this.
I'm trying something new.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Never.
So I just ordered those same shoes, same size, same everything. There we go. Send me a new pair. So.
Yep, that was what I did. I just didn't get them until Friday, so I couldn't break them in. So I wore my old shoes, even though they were a little worn out.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
So yeah, like I said, I got mine Tuesday, and that's why really I did walks, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday was just to break those in. And then I think, I don't think I took Friday off. No, I didn't take Friday off because I did
no
5K on Friday too. So
just take it run. So yeah. But last time I did the UltraVirus race, I had 2 pairs of shoes, 2 pairs of socks. I didn't change my first pair of shoes until lap 4, and then my new pair of shoes had custom inserts in them that I'd never worn. So I ended up splitting open my baby toe, and it took like a week to heal because there was a chunk of skin missing because I didn't leave up my toes. So I learned it was real bad. Yeah, it was.
She went and grabbed her stuff.
This is what I used to leave up my toes. I heard this on another podcast. It's called Squirrel's Nut Butter. I heard this on an ultra running podcast. It's like,
how do you get that? I mean, I just want to know how they get squirrel nut butter. I mean, is there somebody out there jerking off squirrels? I mean,
yep. It does say it's all natural.
Is it a Canadian thing?
To protect your nuts because it's supposed to be for ultra runners and their junk. Well, I've been using this for chafing, and then I moved up between each toe and my feet, and I got maybe 3 blisters this time.
That comes in. You can get it in a little salve as well, and then there's like Journey Goo, and there's a bunch of different ones.
I use Body Glide, but I use that. I use that where I get the fat guy chafes. That's what I call those, the fat guy chafe.
When I said KY, I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, what's your secret to your runs? Well, I use sex lube. Like, come on.
Hey, that's not what KY is only used for.
I mean, I want to know what else you're using the KY for. Yeah.
I was gonna say like the strawberry flavored stuff, maybe.
No.
You don't run very often, do you? You're so pretty.
I just want to run and smell like I'm ice cream sundae.
But yeah, definitely changing socks helped too. But between laps 2, 4, and 6, I took the socks off and I just rubbed that stick all over both feet, and the feet damage this time compared to last time was like minimal. So.
I'm gonna have to look at that. Because I was thinking when you kept saying lubing up feet, I'm like, are you just like throwing some freaking Vaseline all over your feet?
Yeah, a lot of people do just put Vaseline on.
She said Vaseline and
it works.
pads.
Yeah.
It works.
But this stuff doesn't stink, and it's not like super greasy. So.
I'm gonna have to try that.
So I went one too many laps with my first pair of socks after they got soaked in the rainstorms.
Like I said, I bought a brand new pack of socks on Friday because we went to Costco and bought a brand new pack of socks that basically I just opened up for that. So they were there ready to go. I didn't have to look for them. I just had brand new, you know, one pair did go to Chris, but you know, because she was having issues, so I gave her a pair, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, see, I like the ones I started and ended in were the mohair wool ones from Belega. And those ones are super thick, super comfortable, and I can't, aside from the water, I've never been able to get another blister wearing those no matter what we've done.
Oh, wow.
And then I switched in the middle to a darn tough merino wool because it was thinner to allow my feet to expand.
See, and I don't like the thinner ones. That's where I keep running into problems because I know a lot of people I've talked to are like, oh, thinner, they're better. I get more luck because the ones that I wore, they're Adidas. They're just Adidas like compression socks. So they're actually a thicker cotton sock. But those are the ones that I found I get less blisters on and stuff like that. If I get the thin ones that everyone talks about, that these are great because they, you know, get rid of the moisture and they do all this, and it's like the thin ones, then that's when I get the really bad blisters like I did in Hawaii and then I did on a marathon that we did, you know, last summer. I mean, I don't know if you saw those freaking golf balls on the side of my foot, but last year, but this time, yeah.
The running room suggests in wet weather to wear alpaca wool socks. Yep. Apparently, it's like super water resistant, like so your feet will stay drier in the rain and whatnot. It just kind of beads right off.
I wore the Mudgear socks. I have those work well. So for both.
That's what I liked about this idea this time was having multiple where I could just switch. It's like, okay, my feet are wet. Take off those socks, put on a different pair, and go. So the one thing I got to figure out is my left foot. I wear a sleeve on my left foot because of the injury that I had. And it's a compression like tight. I mean, it really holds my foot. But I think I keep running into a problem because my foot's too short. So it ends up, and I think that's might be on my left foot why I end up with blisters because that sleeve was all the way up under my toes, not where it should stop, be short of my toes, but it's
maybe you could use like almost like an elasticy medical tape next time instead of that and just wrap your foot up.
Because I've done that before. Right after I had the injury, I did that. I would get I'd get like a medical tape or something like that and just wrap it really tight.
Yeah, they've got that like stretchy stuff, so that, like when you put it on, it'll actually compress, especially if you like tape it up. I'm not talking like Band-Aid, like bandages. I'm talking it's actual tape. Like it looks like it's all puckered up so that like it's, you know, got like elastic in it, and you tape that on and it'll hold compress really well. So
and I think that's what I might have to do for the next one so I don't get those, because that was my problem. I really like the sleeve, but the problem I run into is for the longer ones, I think it comes all the way out under my toes, and that ends up giving me, you know, blisters because of that. So but it holds because the damage to my foot, it's getting better, honestly, from doing all the running I have been doing. I keep feeling pops and sharp pain in it. But in my defense, usually after it happens, it'll start to move better and everything else. So I'm starting to think those pops and sharp pains are, I think, scar tissue popping and breaking up and giving me movement again. So I'm getting better movement and less constant pain in it. So, yeah.
And then I also noticed for me this time, like after I did the run, taking like a 20-minute walk just to keep the legs moving once I was done really helped with recovery. Like last time I was destroyed for what, 4 days?
Yeah.
And this time I was better in like you have to? Yeah.
See,
after my power nap you put on Facebook. It's like I'm done. Yes, I was done.
That's where I felt good was normally I've had an issue of like the next day after a half marathon or a marathon for like 4 days. I'm like, yeah, piss off. I ain't getting off the couch. Yeah. But this time it was pretty much my legs weren't a problem. If my feet would have been fine, I would have been able to go out and do another freaking. Yep. I mean, I did a half marathon on Monday, like 2 days later. And I mean, besides my toes hurting a little bit, my legs were a little bit sore, but it actually, I feel like they're better, and I recovered better because I went out and did that half marathon because I got the blood.
Active recovery is a thing.
You know, and so I was drinking all the water, eating all the food. I felt bad though, because here I am like on Saturday just munching all the pizza, and I see your bowl, Mike. You got like strawberries and banana. I'm like, baby.
And that's become my new snacks. I mean, I really doing this Weight Watchers with Amber. We've started picking really, really careful what we do eat and everything like that. And I mean, most time we'll, hey, I want a snack. So instead of going to grab Cheetos or whatever, we, grab some, strawberries and bananas, cut them up, throw them in a bowl, and just sit there and munch on them. So I mean, it's much
I'm
healthier.
human enough to do that. I'm just like, you order me food, I take now. I'm done. Like,
I was just trying to, and it was one of those, and it was really hard for me not to be like, I did 31 miles yesterday. I can eat all the food.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, nope, I need to still, stick to what I've been doing. So, and I don't know if you saw Sunday too, I was in the middle of the whole 31 miles. I get a text from my brother who only texts me when he wants things. And he sends me a message like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, don't tell me you've got a load of hay and you need help.
I saw that the day after hay thing. I'm like, I'm taking a walk and you're like doing the hay thing.
Oh, yeah. I was bucking hay. 108, we moved 108 bales of hay from one trailer to another. And then I had to take that trailer to the barns and unload them into the barns. So, yeah,
how was your recovery? Like Boggs? Was it good, bad?
So I went out and did 5 miles on Monday with Mike. Sunday, I rested mostly. I've got that one toe, which
told him we could just lop it off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right,
it was.
I have a cleaver.
Yep.
Right off.
Now the nice thing was, Sunday I finally lanced the blister that was on there, and then I didn't look very closely to see that there was a second layer blister under that blister.
Ooh.
So, Mike and I walked on Monday and it hurt like hell and the whole time, and I'm just sitting there cussing and saying, we're going to get this done. And just keeping rolling. And, Monday night I looked at it again and I'm like, you know what? There's another blister there. So I lanced that. And of course that one's not just blister stuff because it's a deeper one.
Oh.
But so now I've got just a big old hard chunk of dying dead skin on my toe that's drying out.
They said we
tell me more.
We had dinner, right? Okay, we're good.
Chop off the toe. You don't need it.
This is dinner theater, guys.
Yeah.
This is dinner theater. We're going to talk about Don's dying toe all night.
That's whatever.
What are we going to cook it up with? Some shallots and.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dip it in a little vino.
Why not?
I've been watching Hannibal, so don't give me ideas.
But no, overall, I mean, compared to, we go back to the first marathon I did, I couldn't hardly move afterwards. This one at the end,
hearing it.
Well, my back seized up. Yeah, they had to carry me off, but no, this time, at the end of 30 miles, I mean, Virginia and I were joking, but we were pretty serious that we could have kept going. The two of us were feeling pretty good.
I didn't want to. But, I mean, if it was like, we need to keep going, I'd have been like, oh, whatever. Yeah. So, like I said, and I felt like it was the book, The Long Walk. So if you haven't read that by Stephen King, actually, sorry, Richard Bachman. But yeah, Stephen King, The Long Walk, that's pretty much how I felt. So
that's kind of when we did the downhill marathon. That's what it was like, because it was just that long, straight downhill forever without turning.
I want to do that one again. I want to do that one again. I love that one. That trail was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was all down, but it wasn't enough of a downhill to hurt. I mean, I have bad knees, so I don't like a downhill. But that downhill was just enough of a grade that it didn't hurt, and it was comfortable, and just 26 miles straight down.
Wow.
It was a 1% to 2% grade. It's an old railroad.
Yeah, an old railroad path.
Yeah.
And it starts with a 3-mile tunnel with no lights.
Is that the Tunnel Hill one?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do Tunnel Hill so bad. I've heard about that on other running podcasts. Oh.
Tunnel Marathon, that's what me and Dawn did last year. It was a Tunnel Marathon.
We've talked about it like 3 times on the show. There's this podcast called
Apparently someone doesn't listen.
Yeah.
I guess I do. But it's good you got, because I know that you guys do a lot of endurance stuff. For me, the first time I did this race, it almost killed me. Like, I was going down the stairs on my butt for 4 days later. I was done. But this time, I did my 35. I'm like, I could push, and then my body's like, no, you can't. No. So, so I get it. The more you do this stuff, the better it gets. But yeah, it's definitely endurance training helps.
Well, the thing for us is we're not like runners.
I love the hair serum.
This is her natural hair.
Yeah, that's my
Nice.
You want to go get a haircut on Saturday
yes.
for her birthday. When's your birthday?
June 8th.
When is that? Did you just fart on me?
Yes.
She came all the way in the room.
That's normal. She'll run over to us and she'll be like, just remember, you can watch the video in a few years. We'll post it for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, it'll be on YouTube Wednesday.
This will be on your graduation.
Yep.
But Boggs, you were saying something about you guys not being actual, like, what do you mean not like runners? Like, what?
Well, I mean, so the theory of running, you know, we did 17-minute miles, which is just a fast walk.
Yeah.
You know, and running per se is usually 12.5-minute or less miles to truly be into a run or a good jog.
I get that, but it's kind of one of those things for me. The way I look at it is compared to what I used to be to what I am now. I mean, I don't care if you call it a run, you call it a jog, you call it a scratching your butt. I really don't care. I'm faster than I was before, and I'm in.
Yeah.
So,
That's what
you know, even at my fastest, I mean, my best 5K was like 28 minutes. So, you know, 10 years ago. But could I do that today? No. Can I maybe do it in a couple months? Possibly. But, you know, if I get there, I get there. If I don't, whatever. As long as I keep improving and doing better than I was yesterday, I'm good.
Yep. But I think what I was getting at there is because we try to run that or, you know, run that speed and we have a set plan and it just really helps for the endurance that you keep that same pace all day. I mean, I think if you looked at my numbers I turned in, there was only a 10-minute difference between our slowest and our fastest times. So it just made it a lot easier to carry the length of endurance.
My enter thing in fixed something before the next one, if I do it.
For sure.
If you do it, I think you're already doing it.
What do you mean if? Yeah, you said you're in.
When I do it, I need to have that fixed because that was my problem is I couldn't, you know, I mean, like I showed Ryan, I'm like, I don't get it. It's just an endless loop. So
has registration for the next one opened?
Oh yeah,
already,
open the other day.
Yeah.
Okay, well then once we get you registered, we'll make sure that you can log in. So let's work on that.
Yep.
But in terms of runners though, like I've noticed there's some people that are built for speed. Like they can bang off like 4-minute kilometers. There's some people that are built for endurance and length of run. I'm one of the people that seem to be built for endurance. I'm okay if I'm not fast because I go the distance and there's nothing wrong with going the distance at all.
Yeah. And that's me. I'm one of those. I am built, and my whole life I've been built for the endurance side. I mean, when I was younger, could I run kind of fast? Yes, but not for very long. But I could keep going forever, you know, if I stayed at just a normal pace. I mean, whether it was mountain biking, whether it was tennis, whatever. I mean, you know, I did have a good sprint because of baseball because I could sprint 90 feet. But that's why I played baseball because I didn't want to sprint any farther than 90 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I had to do that is if I hit a double. And if I hit a double, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, your asthma kicks in. You're bent over.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Is I mean, I've had asthma since I was a kid. So for me to sprint, and that was kind of it. It's like I'll run till I can't breathe, and then that's kind of why I have to walk, is so I can get my breath back, and then I'll run again. But the problem I was having is asked on when we did what was it, terrain race last year when we went up to Vancouver, or 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
When we went up to Vancouver to do the terrain race, we weren't 100 feet away from the start line, and I had to stop because I couldn't breathe.
Wow.
And that's where I was getting, is especially as I was, you know, once I hit the 285 or whatever it was, I was in February, is I could run 50 feet, and then I'm like, and it's like, okay, you know, this isn't good. So that's why I started doing this. And now it's like, I can run a lot better. You know, my best so far is, I think, according to Strava, I had an 11-minute 30-second mile at one point when I was doing a run the other day. So, I mean, I'm getting better, but so it's just
You can only get better, right?
Yeah.
So.
Improvement.
This that makes us push ourselves.
Yeah.
That we're a little bit, but in a good
We're a
way.
little nutso.
Harder and harder. We've all survived, so.
Yeah. And that's it. And just keep pushing myself and making myself better. And I mean, it's one of those things. If you would have told me even 10 years ago when I was running, my goal was to someday do a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've done an ultra. I mean, I never would even, because I was like, I want to do a marathon just to say I did it, not because I want to, just so I can say.
No, I hear you.
Never wanted to do it.
No.
I wanted to be able to say I did it. But
And I mean, my
You
first
watch
one, I shouldn't have been out there.
That's the best marathon movie ever, I think.
Which one?
Run, Fat Boy. Run.
Yes. Oh, I love that one. That's honestly that was my, when I did my first one, the one that Don talked about where his back seized up, that was my thought the whole time. I'm like, I am now Run, Fat Boy, Run. I literally am living this movie because I was at one point they're taking the track down around me as I'm passing because I'm it. I'm the last one. And I mean, this little old lady that was one of the course marshals in her car kept stopping. She's like, I could drive you to the finish line.
Yeah.
no, I'm finishing
I'm
this.
like, no, I'm doing this. She's like, you can barely walk. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Did you ever read that book I told you to read, Mike? Running with a Police Escort?
No, I've wanted to, but I'm just, I haven't been in a reading mood. I've been teaching in school and trying to do school and reading for school. And now all of a sudden in school, all of my books are ebooks. You know how hard and annoying it is to read a book on a computer?
Yes, it is. I like paper books. I'm old school that way. I love to have actual books in my hands.
And I can only print 10 pages at a time. I'm like, this is stupid. Just give me a
the
page.
table of contents, and here's the forward. No, look, I can't read anymore.
Yeah, it's like, just can I buy the normal book and you can send it to me? I'll spend the extra $100 because this is driving me nuts.
Turn it into an audiobook.
No.
There we go. There is an audio version, but even I can't do that. I listen to podcasts when I drive just so I have to kind of pay attention and I don't take naps while I drive because that gets bad. But yeah, yeah, it does.
Wow.
But so it keeps me awake listening. But even then, I'm still not paying attention. So if it was a textbook, I'd be like, especially the stuff I'm doing OSHA. I'm going for a degree in OSHA. So I mean, they're talking about wastewater treatment plants and the chemicals in it in the class I'm in right now, and I'm like, no, and the dissolving oxygen, and I don't get it. Yeah.
But you guys are all officially in then for round 3. That what was it? The virus is cured. I think that's the tagline for this one. Yeah.
Yeah,
that is the tagline. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm definitely, and I know Virginia, I think, is already signed up.
You already signed up. Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Virginia's already signed up.
Chris and Lisa, and I don't think Serena's going to be in quite yet. Isn't she still in school?
I don't know. I think she is, but I don't know. So I'd like to see Serena in it, but who knows? I mean, the big problem we run into too with Serena's a little more worried than Chris is about the virus, and because of Tristan and all that. So, which I get. I mean, they have a child that's a very susceptible to stuff like that. So I don't think Serena would be more into it, but
since I'm not running this time, I'd like to offer my services to be able to provide updates on the BeastNet channels for you guys. So that way you guys can just focus on your race, and I can cheer you on here and keep my feet up, have some hot coffee, and
There you go.
Well, I thought Dawn was doing pretty good with a lot of the pictures and stuff and everything, throwing stuff up in the middle. So that'll be good because I know it's going to be interesting, I think, for that day because I know I think another race just announced something in Seattle that day, but I'm in for the ultra, but the other thing I don't like.
Well, it's not a race; it's an endurance event, and it's two 4-hour endurance events that are held overnight.
I've already done my hurricane, and my hurricane was drinking a hurricane out of a hurricane glass in the middle of a hurricane.
That's right.
Triple hurricane.
So why are you going to
Exactly.
win?
I trifected the hurricane.
Yeah.
No, if Washougal happens, I'm doing the hurricane there, so I've got my hurricane for the year.
I've done two.
Our hurricane too, right?
Yes.
Yes, with
Was it? Yeah, it was the MX Park in Oregon.
Yep, Washougal.
that's where your hurricane.
That's where we did a sprint in the morning, and then a 5 or 6
hurricane.
I did two. I did one in 2015 at the very first time they did Seattle in October. I did the hurricane heat there, and then I did the one the following April in Seattle again. And other than that, I'm just like, it's not my thing. I mean, I like the idea of flipping tires and doing stuff and the races and like Tough Mudder and doing that kind of stuff. But just having someone bark orders at me and tell me to do something, I'm like, I'm done with this. It's not my thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you said earlier, you could do like a toughest overnight because it's at your own pace.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of know what's there. But yeah, I you know, it's the whole don't know what's coming, so you can't prepare for it. But that's why a lot of people do it too, just to see if they can. You know,
And that was it.
I've done it once, and I don't expect to do another one, but maybe I'd like to do a 12-hour. I don't know. We'll see, but. You know, I'm not signing up tomorrow for one. That's for sure.
No,
Yeah, I did my two, and I'm like, yeah, it's not my.
No.
It's not my thing. It's not something I enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed it to an extent, but it wasn't something that I was like, this is something I have to do again. I'm like, nope, I did it. I
enjoyed that I did it. Yeah. I didn't enjoy doing it.
The car ride back the next day, that was brutal. We were all so sore.
Well, and I think honestly for me, it's kind of, and it sounds horrible to say this, but the one person that I loved for the hurricane heats does not work for them anymore.
Yeah,
So,
he retired this year.
Yeah, retired. But but he was, I love Dingo. Dingo was he's the guy who my very first hurricane heat I did, he was the cadre Cryptea, the boss, the drill sergeant, whatever you want to call
the guy yelling at you.
Yes, the guy yelling.
We had him too. He was awesome. I loved him.
Yeah.
I loved Dingo, and Dingo was great. And then the second one I did, Dingo was actually a participant.
Oh, wow.
He was basically my partner the entire time, who kept me going.
Try keeping up with that.
Yeah.
Well, he kept me going and just it was awesome to have him there, right there. Like, come on! And that's honestly the Pretty Mike nickname. That's where it started. Was the whole time he was going. Every time he's like, "Come on, Pretty Mike, come on!" And that's where it started. Was he started calling me Pretty Mike in the middle of that, and by the end of it, everybody's like Pretty Mike, and that just became my name.
Yep. Stuck.
You know, and
I think that taking the knee at the end of the hurricane heat just before they let us go, that was the most people like, take a knee and be on your knee. We're gonna go through this 20-minute speech. It's like, I can't move, but okay, Sierra.
Yeah. So that's kind of the one thing for me is that he's the one that made me really want to do it, and it really sounds bad, but worries me on a lot of those is something like that. Who's going to be if I don't know who the person is, it's going to be hard for me because I'm not good at taking orders anyway. So if I don't like you and you're giving me orders, there's a good chance that bad words are going to come out of my mouth in the middle of it that aren't going to go well. Where I'm going to pretty much be like, I'm done. I'm out. See you later.
We had Dingo and Adam for hours.
Yes,
so.
Adam with the hose and the barbed wire crawl.
Yeah.
I asked him questions. I got a hose in the face. So I didn't know you're not supposed to ask questions.
See, like
you ask questions, you do burpees.
I do understand Dingo's brother Map is still there, so Map is supposed to be really good. So I could see Map maybe, but I mean, there's some other people that could be involved in it that would automatically I would be out because of that. Because there's certain people that I don't trust, I don't like, and if they are involved in it, I'm out.
No, I agree. Actually, totally.
You know, I have no trust or faith that they would have my best interest or anything in mind during it. So I'm like, I'm out. I can't trust that you would. Yeah.
For sure. We're kind of hitting the hour mark, guys.
Yeah. I was going to say, Ryan's got to go check on his mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any advice you want to offer? Any comments about this, your first shot at the UltraVirus race?
The only thing I'm going to say is get ready for the distance. I mean, figure out a way. That's one thing, like I said, you know, I got to figure out the way to better take care of my feet. And what's funny, when he's sitting there talking about the tape, I've been playing with this the whole time we were talking. I'm like, that's the tape right there. But so I have it, but I mean, it's find something to make sure that your body can handle it. And that's kind of it. You know, for us, it was my legs are great. My legs did really good. I think my Fitbit, I swear it's broken. I'm at like 90,000 steps for this week, even though after I've done that. but I pace a lot when I teach. So, but make sure your body can take it. That's it. And make sure you're wearing the correct gear. You know, don't put on brand new shoes that morning. You know,
Yeah,
I was
you have
lucky.
hydration, you have,
Yep.
you know, your
snacks.
nutrition.
Food. Don't try new food. If you figure out your hydration and your food weeks, there's a lot of stuff that you need to go into this. And what I think was great on this is really my first race I've gone into that I was prepared.
Yep.
I am famous for just showing up and being like, let's do this with no preparation and nothing. And then everyone's like, you destroyed yourself through that. And I'm like, yeah, I did, because I wasn't prepared. That's when I'm like, nope, you know, had my oldest sandwiches, had my drinks, had, you know,
Well,
just everything set
the
up.
10 weeks leading up to it, we were doing 5Ks, 10Ks, 21Ks like every weekend. So I think that really helped too. And again, anybody coming out to do this, practice it, do some 5-mile loops just so you get used to it. And the big thing is the gear. Make sure you know what you're wearing on your feet. I can't say that enough. You know, whether it's in gingies or lube or whatever, something so you know.
It's not just your feet. It's honestly, it's your legs. It's like anywhere you might get, you know, do some, you know, maybe not the full mileage, but do some mileage and find where your hot spots are. You know, where you're going to have those fat
here, he'd say, make sure you take your nipples.
Yep. Yeah. That is one that I've seen people like blood. Like, yeah, it's not good. Like bloody nipples.
I'm done.
All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, find what's going to work for you. I mean, make sure you're ready, prepare. I mean, and like I said, I'm famous for not preparing for nothing. I just show up and like, I can do whatever I want. Whatever. Yeah. You can't tell me I can't do this.
Beforehand too, though, make sure you're getting your sleep days before the race, because you're going to be up and out for how long. Yeah. And also pre-hydrate. Get your water starting 5 days before, because if you try to hydrate the day before the day of,
it's not going to work well. So,
Yep.
All right.
All right. So again, everybody, UltraVirus put on by ORM. This time it's going to be The Cure.
Yes, we'll see.
So should I listen to The Cure the entire time we're out there?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Hey, man, Disintegration, they got some great albums. You want the CDs? I think I own them all. Don't tell me about Amazon Music and all that. I own the CDs, like I was an original Cure freak.
I was more a Depeche Mode skinny puppy kind of person.
I have all those CDs too. I even have
a tattoo on your chest.
I do, yes. Yeah.
And a tattoo on his chest.
Oh, nice.
I don't want to unbutton, otherwise I'd show you mine. I got the same one.
He's got the same one because Depeche Mode. But yeah.
All right, you guys.
I was a big Depeche Mode fan. I have those too. So yeah. And Skinny Puppy. I like you more and more, Ryan.
Same thing before the next one. I think it's a good idea. Maybe try. You know what? Let's try and get some more of the other people that are going to be joining. Like that.
Yep.
And let's try and do it a little earlier, because I think it'd be good to have this come out come out before the show.
Oh, you mean not like the way that it's coming out tomorrow?
Or the last one in hours. Maybe just like under a week. I don't think we want to go too far ahead of it, but whatever. Well, and probably the episode just before that, you guys should just start talking about it. It's like for 5-10 minutes at the end of your podcast, just to remind people it's coming up, and then go.
Well, I think too. I mean, we should have. I mean, we might want to talk about having Matt on. Bring Matt on and just talk about it.
Yeah,
he said he was up for it. It just we ran out of time.
Or you guys. I mean, Matt. I mean, bring Matt on. Do that as one of your episodes. Have Matt on and just talk about it. Hey, this.
And I don't have him on our show, eh? Maybe we'll do a conglomeration. We'll all get on.
Well, Kyle's not working now, so we can finally get him out doing this stuff.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Today he announced he is free. So.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Take it easy.
Yes.
We'll all chat again soon.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Yep.
Often.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. I think it's my bedtime at 8 o'clock.